Welcome to the Unit 7 Review Sheet solution tutorial. This is for the spring. For number 5 in this video, I will be showing you how to find the value of x. Notice the x here are all the sides of this right triangle. Okay, so when it says find the value of x, we are looking for the side of the triangle. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Side of triangle. Okay, this is going to help us explain why we're using our trig ratios here, right? So first of all, let's draw our person to indicate where we're working from. Our person is right here on the angle. As a result, we have x, which is your closest one, so this is going to be your adjacent, and 12, which is your farthest away, is going to be considered your opposite. So you should notice this is opposite and adjacent, so that is going to be your TOA, your tangent. Okay. So when you set up the ratio, it's going to be tan of your 41 degrees is going to be equal to your opposite, which is 12, divided by, let me just write this for you. It's going to be your tan is going to be your opposite, divided by your adjacent. All right. So now we can make the substitute. I'm sorry. Tan of 41. You also want to make sure you have the angle here. Okay. So now we can make that substitution. Your opposite, the number for your opposite was 12. And then your adjacent, which is just x. Now we can solve. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by x to both sides. So this cancels. This is going to get me x tan 41 is equal to 12. Now I'm going to divide by the tan 41 to both sides. That gets me x to get alone. So x is going to be equal to 12 divided by tan 41. That's why you're going to have to use Desmos for this here. So x is equal to 12 divided by tan 41. So that gets you 13.8. There you go. 13.8. Because we're rounding to the nearest tenth. That is round to the nearest dime. Okay. Or round it to the nearest tenth cents. B, same process. Start by drawing our person. The person's here, it's the 43 degrees. The x here is going to be to your opposite. And 26 here is your hypo. So here you have your opposite and your hypotenuse. So this is going to be your show? Yes, show, which is your sine. So it's going to be sine of 43 degrees is going to be equal to your opposite divided by your hypo or hypotenuse. Okay, I'm going to copy this. So now we can make our substitution. Your opposite was the value of x, and your hypo is the value of 26. We can now times 26 to both sides, so I can get x alone. I get that now. So x, so this whole thing is going to be equal to x. So now I can plug that into the calculator. That's your 26. Enter it the same exact way you see it. Times sine of 43. That gets you 17.73. Rounding it to the nearest tenth or dime, which is just 17.7. So this is going to be 17.7. C. Draw our person. Label it. X is going to be your adjacent. And 26 is your hypotenuse because it's the longest side. So adjacent and hypotenuse, that's going to be your or your cosine. So it's going to be cosine of 43 degrees is going to be equal to your adjacent divided by your hypotenuse. Now we're going to make the substitution. The adjacent value is x, and then your hypo is going to be 26. Now I'm going to multiply 26 to both sides because that's how I get x alone. So it's going to be equal to x here. So now I can enter my left-hand side into the calculator. 26 times cosine of 43. That gets me 19.01, or just 19.0. Okay. Good. Let's do the last one, which is a D. We draw a person here at the angle of 32 degrees. Now we can label certain things. 18 here is your opposite. X here is your hypotenuse. Then we have opposite and hypotenuse. That's going to be your show. So that's your sine. So sine of 32 degrees is going to be equal to your opposite divided by your hypo. Now let's make the substitution and solve. Your OPP, which is your opposite, is 18. And then your HYP, your hypo, is the value of x. Now let's solve. So I'm going to multiply x to both sides. Okay, this cancels. But now I have an x times sine 32. X sine 32 is going to be equal to 18. Now I'm going to divide by the sine 32 to both sides, leaving you with an x is equal to, because this cancels, okay? 18 divided by sine 32. So let's plug that into a calculator here. 18 divided by sine of 32. That gets you 33.96. Rounding it to the nearest 10 cents. So that should be, think about this as $33.96. Rounding it to the nearest 10 cents, that gets you 34. Okay. Let's see. Is there an E? Nope, that's it. There was only 4 problems. All right. So there you go. A, B, C, and D. All this require us to use the regular trig ratios because, like the problem says, we are finding the sides of the triangle.